that do it? Let's see here. Can you see and hear me, everybody? Let me know. All right, beautiful. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Paleontologizing, and welcome back to eastern Utah, here near the town of Moab. We're digging here in the earliest Cretaceous Cedar Mountain Formation. Just got here yesterday afternoon, and already we are opening up the quarry and getting things set up. Got our shade tarps partially assembled already, as you can see. It's gonna be a good season. Should be out here for about 3 weeks, and apologies, all this sweat crusted on my eyes. Good way to start the broadcast. But it's good to have you here, everybody. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist, and I'm here on Twitch trying to do some good old-fashioned science outreach. So, right now I'm working with the Utah Geological Survey. This is my 4th year being out here at this site with these good folks, some of whom you already know, and some of whom will be new to you. But, like I said, this is how I do science outreach. As a paleontologist, I study fossils, dinosaur fossils in particular. Most paleontologists don't work on dinosaurs, but I do. And here we are digging up what is very likely a brand new species of iguanodon dinosaur, maybe 2 new species of iguanodon dinosaur, we'll see. But it's pretty exciting stuff. There are a whole bunch of bones that we had to leave last summer, so should be able to show you those before too long, possibly even today. We shall see. But it's good to have you here, everybody. Holy cow. We've been blessed with beautiful weather for the first couple of days. It was overcast yesterday and this morning, so it's not hellishly hot like it will be later on in the season. We'll easily crack 100 degrees Fahrenheit pretty much every day during a typical season here, but today it's been like high 80s. Wonderful. Yeah, just so nice. Thank you for the resubscriptions there. Really appreciate that. Ghost iguanodon in the sky. Iguanodontids in the sky. Tone Rebellion. Very nice. It's good to have you here. Yeah. Anyway, my apologies for being a day late with these streams. We'll talk about that a little bit, but well, shoot. The day I arrived, flew in from San Francisco to Salt Lake City, and was gonna go pick up my car and then head out here. And there was a major mishap with the big trailer. The tongue of the trailer just got folded up about 30, 35 degrees, something like that. Just crazy. Trailer, I guess, was just too heavy for the way that it was constructed. And so that set us back by a day. We had to get hold of another trailer. But we've got it. It's over there in camp right now. I don't know if you can see. Probably not. It's far away. But, yeah, I don't know. Rolling with the punches like we always do in the field. So, yeah, good stuff. Let's go take a look, shall we? Yeah. I do want to actually get some work done today, so I will set the camera down at some point, start shoveling. But we're just reopening the site from last year. Those of you who were here last year remember working this iguanodontian site. Maybe you remember the last day when we had all of those limb bones that suddenly appeared. Those are down by Fisher right now. And by the way, here's Fisher.
Hello.
We weren't expecting to have Fisher out here this year, so this has been a lovely surprise. That's right underneath this white blob are some more of our iguanodontian bones. These are the limb bones that we found at the very end of last year.
Oh, okay.
There's Karen Poole. She's back as well.
Hey.
And hard. Here's Uncle Don, Utah Assistant State Paleontologist Don DeBlue.
In the middle of reapplying more sunscreen.
Yeah, important stuff. Big E, Mr. Cowgirl over here. Using our rotary hammer, which is honestly a lot simpler and less hassle than the jack generator or anything. We've got Laura here too, who is visiting from the UK, or
Yeah, sure.
something like that. The whole European Union over here. And we've got Jenny as well, joining us from Arkansas, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, nice. So Jenny's going to be here today and tomorrow, and then she has to take off. So, what's that?
Short trip.
Yeah, yeah. But it's good to have you out here for a few days at least.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, glad we actually, hopefully we'll get to see some bones before you take off. I think we will. Yeah. So anyway, it's good to have everybody here. Lenina wants to know. Here. Lenina wants to know how many krona for a surprise fisher.
Price visit 75 krona.
75, okay. I'll pay that.
I'm quite happy to be here.
Nice. No, it's really good to have Fisher here. Sorry about the noise. I bet you the mic is really picking up the sound of the rotary hammer, but that's just how it goes. Yeah. Of the northern Utah. Oh, very cool, Pharaoh Shady. Nice. Yeah, we're down near Moab right now. Beautiful country down here. Yeah. Anyway, it's good to have everybody. That's, Here, I wonder if I should be wheelbarrow. Set the camera down and talk until it's time to carry the wheelbarrow over or something. Let's see. Here, let me take that. I'll get it.
All right, thanks, Danny.
Yeah. Put this.
Ontogeny.
Do more of this tomorrow.
No, at this point, it doesn't.
Fish, can we trade that when you're done?
Yeah.
Thanks, Claire.
Is here good?
Yep.
All right. Well, anyway, yeah. And there you go, Claire Burr is exactly right, as usual. Yeah, here at this site, we're actually on the valley floor, rather than being up on some big escarpment or
Sorry.
Yeah.
Trying to help us not be in the way.
side of a cliff or something like that. So, it's kind of nice, honestly. Yeah. And camp is right over there, just walking distance. So that makes things really nice too. It feels like a vacation compared to the logistical situation in Wyoming. That's nice. Yeah. Posh camp up there. Yeah. Really feels like it. All right. Is that about good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Take that.
We're gonna need that next time, Danny.
What's that?
They're gonna need it next.
When you're done.
Okay.
Bring it down here, Danny.
All right. Yeah. Nice. So anyway, just trying to kind of get resettled now that we just got back to camp. Set things up yesterday and this morning, and kind of getting the quarry reopened today, if you didn't catch that earlier. But yeah, I know you Snowy the Velocity. Doing? Yeah. Axeman, appreciate that. Got that, Karen?
Yep.
Okay.
You can get the neck.
Cool. So yeah, it's good to be back in the field. And hey, Bizarre Rules, Lunar Rose, Sourdough. This is definitely not a new hat. This is my U.S. Marines military surplus sun helmet. I've had this since 2012. It's a little worse for wear. This might be its last season. I've got a brand new one waiting at home to replace this with. It gets very, very hot in this area during this time of year. So it kind of requires a different sort of hat. It's sort of like the one that Fisher has over there too. Another sun helmet. But yeah. And Snowy wants to know, are you going to come back to St. George when we start back up in the fall? I'm not sure. I've got a busy autumn planned this year. Gonna be doing some field work here in Utah. Looks like the end of September. I've got TwitchCon coming up in October, and then I've got the Society of Vertebrate Paleontology meeting in the UK in November. So it's gonna be a busy autumn. We'll see if I can make it over to St. George. And Alexander Morrison, yeah, Jim is going to be out here on Saturday, I think. Is that right, Don? Nice. Yeah. So Jim is going to be out here for the whole rest of the summer, pretty much, it looks like. Yeah. Good stuff. Here, I'm going to get ready to move that wheelbarrow again. Let's put this right here, like that. Yeah. All right, I'll take that.
I'll let you. All right. Thanks, Danny.
You bet.
Much.
There we go. Here, so let me give you a quick little tour of the site, maybe. I'll give you in a minute when that noise is done. It's going to be a fairly disjointed stream today. That was important to do a stream given that we're a little bit late getting out here. But yeah, like I said, we just got in yesterday afternoon after a one-day delay. Got camp set up last night and this morning, and managed to get the quarry reopened today. Came out here just before lunch, and we're making really good progress, I'm gonna say. This is it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And the famous tarps, yeah, there you go. Elmetta, yes indeed. We'll talk to Don about tarpology in a bit. Should be plenty of opportunities to do that later. But yeah, I'm still kind of getting my streaming gear set up here. Don't have the proper shade tarp set up for any of this stuff, but there's our satellite dish. So far it's working fine, which is a relief. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. And Anodyne says, what kind of dinosaurs are you digging there? Like it says in the title, we're digging up some iguanodon dinosaurs. So these are big, kind of 2- or 4-legged plant-eating dinosaurs. They had 4 limbs, obviously, but they could switch between walking on all 4s or running on 2 legs, most likely. And we think we've got a brand new species here, possibly 2 new species, which is very exciting. So we'll be talking more about that as the season goes on, too. The person who's leading the charge in describing this critter, getting this published, is Karen Poole. So we'll be talking to her about iguanodonts later on as well. Yeah, the spike thumbs. There you go, Squiggles. Although we don't know if this one has got a spiked thumb or not. We'd love to be able to find some phalanges and stuff, some carpals, maybe even a thumb spike. That would tell us for sure that this critter had a thumb spike if we find one. But yeah, we'll have to see. I did not get enough sleep over the last few days, so apologies if I'm not really at 100% right now. But this is often how it goes at the beginning of the summer. The beginning of the season, I should say. Yeah, and we'll be working this site until about August 5th, 6th, something like that. So we'll be here about 3 weeks, a little over 3 weeks. And what's exciting is we already have bones from last year that we reburied, so we'll be uncovering those maybe today. You might even get to see them. So that's, yeah, we're hitting the ground running, so to speak. And, yeah. And I appreciate that Petrodactylus. Yeah, we will have some cool things being dug up. We already have a bunch of limb bones that are ready to go. There we go, nice fissure. So this is actually quite a distance to take all of our matrix. You know, we want to make sure we're not dumping it right next to the hole so we don't have to move it twice, but it does necessitate all the way out there. So, yeah. Nice. Anyway, let me drink some water before I forget. Again, still readjusting to life out in the desert after being in civilization for the past 2 weeks. So it's important to hydrate even more often than I feel like. So let's get that done. And there you go, foam machine. You were probably here for that last year. Or maybe not. I don't think you were here for when we reburied the bones. But there was stuff we didn't have time to excavate last year, so we had to leave it for this year, rebury it. Anywho, yeah. And Geosrudent, hey, how are you doing? Welcome back. Gyrox says the connection cut out. Why are we moving the dirt so far? Just so we don't have to move it twice. Here's the thing: is that this area over here is very, very rich. Like we've had a lot of specimens excavated from here, and if we just moved the dirt over a few meters and dumped it there, we'd probably have to remove that later when the quarry expands to encompass that area too. So we're trying to be ahead of the game and just dump everything way out there. We're going to be expanding the quarry in this direction and in this direction toward us this summer. So you'll see some of that occur as the days and weeks go on. So it might seem like kind of a pain to move all the matrix way over there, but we're saving ourselves time in the long run. We won't have to move it a second time if we move it far enough the first time. Does that make sense? Yeah. And Athernicus says, was this some kind of river delta when the fossil bed was formed? So we think this is probably, this depositional environment is like kind of swampy, probably not a river delta, maybe like a floodplain. I believe the term that we used last time was boggy fern fen. I think that's what Jim called it. And we'll see evidence of that later on in the summer. We'll find, you know, bits of this fern-like plant called Tempskia. We'll find, you know, just kind of geological indicators that this is like a fetid water kind of swampy spot. Yeah. And Lunia Rose says, so the hill you're on right now might have some fossils? It certainly will. In fact, I think we've actually found bone fragments up here before. This whole valley floor in here is just littered with bits and pieces of dinosaur bones. Usually nothing particularly pretty, which is nice because it cuts down on like poachers coming through and stuff. But yeah, essentially this whole valley floor just full of fossils. This is kind of an incredible spot. In fact, let's talk to Don for a second about when we first found this. Here, Don, can we bug you for a second?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some questions about Doling's Bowl. Yeah, how was this site originally discovered and how expansive is it? I mean, when we're looking out at this valley, how much of this is fossiliferous?
Maybe on that side. So
Yeah, okay. There we go, yeah. Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, this is Uncle Don DeBlue.
Yeah, I'm back here for season number 17.
17 in Doling's Bowl, holy cow.
Out of the last 19 years, we missed 2015 and
2020 from it?
2020, yeah.
Yeah, shoot.
Pandemic. Jim found out about this site, Helmut Doling, who this named after. Helmut Doling was a legendary geologic field mapper. Started mapping for the Geological Survey something like 1952 or something like that.
People say he's seen more rocks in Utah than probably anybody else has ever.
Yeah, I
lived.
bet he's probably been in more places. He just passed away a year or two ago at the age of like 94.
Wow.
So he was still mapping right up to the end.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, if he started in the 50s, yeah, he mapped for like 70 years essentially.
That's nuts.
But yeah, he's probably
Yeah.
the single human that's been in more places in Utah than any other human living or past. Because even natives who lived out here all the time didn't go as many places as Helmut did.
Yeah.
But anyways, Helmut had mapped this area in here, and it's kind of a little bowl that you really can't see from the front. And Jim saw a geologic map in like the 90s that Helmut had done, and he saw that he had mapped this all as more.
So
Jim,
like late Jurassic period.
Yeah, and Jim, knowing that the Cedar Mountain and the Morrison, Cedar Mountain sitting on top of the Morrison, mudstone on mudstone, often hard to tell the difference.
Right.
And so he had this idea based on where it was. He's like, I bet a lot of that's actually Cedar Mountain and not Morrison.
So Jim comes out here on a hunch thinking.
Yeah,
it
thinking,
might be Cedar Mountain, yeah.
And then got out here and pretty much was like, oh yeah, this is probably mostly Cedar Mountain.
Nice.
You know, right at the base of the hill over there, there's in this bowl you can find the contact where there's a little bit of the uppermost Morrison.
Yeah.
But you realize most of it's Cedar Mountain. And then near camp where you drive over, there's that flat, kind of a wind deflation surface. Whereas the wind blows and the particles go away, and the little teeth and osteoderms from the ankylosaurs are a little more resistant. And so they kind of
sit on
the
the
rain
surface.
comes down, the little silt goes lower, but they kind of sit on top.
Yeah.
There's a whole little pavement of. So he used to bring people in here, and we would look because you'd always see the little osteoderms and teeth. So it was kind of cool to see all that stuff. Mostly just those little bits. We worked a number of sites just a little bit to the west of here. There's Andrew's site, and that's where the Boston Quarry, Lori's site, all those things. But we worked Andrew's site and dug up Hippotraco, and then we got those other bonus animals.
Yeah.
We could talk about some other time. But anyways, we started coming in here, and then one spring, Jim was like, we got to go and just cross-check the bowl. There's got to be more out there.
See if there's anything here.
Yeah, so Jim, Scott Madsen, Jennifer Cavan, and I came out here. And we spent pretty much the whole day, but as paleontologists usually do, like you see these little low hills, and you kind of go walk the base of it, hoping that some stuff has trickled down.
Sure.
But we wandered the whole perimeter of the bowl and all around, and we didn't really, we didn't find anything. We actually missed it. Turns out later on someone found like there was a sauropod bone in a sandstone ledge over there that we had missed. Especially when you're alone, you know, if you go 10 feet right, you'll find it. If you go 10 feet left, you'll miss it. So got towards the end of the day, and over on that flat area, Jim found there was a pretty good sized ankylosaur plate or scooter. So he was like, oh, I'm going to get a good sonar and jacket this. And at that point, we're ready.
Kind of wandering around.
Yeah, then we're like, well, we might as well wander around a little more. I was looking and I thought, well, it's time to go hike around that ravine. There's more of the green stuff. Maybe there'll be some more bone. Sure enough, I wandered along and I came up the bank, and then I was looking and I was like, oh, there's some bone here coming out. And then I started walking closer to the road, and then I saw this little area, and I saw quite a few little bits of bone coming out. So I was like, oh, there's like a site here.
It's all over the place.
Yeah,
Shoot.
so there's bone. And then at the same time I was coming that way, I saw Scott Madsen working essentially right in this little wash right here. And so he came down from here, and he found bone sticking out of the wash here. Some iguanodon bone. I think it ended up becoming, I think it was the scapula, and we ended up getting a jaw. Anyways, I saw Scott over here, and I'm thinking, well, I've got a site here. And then I didn't see Scott. And then all of a sudden Jim and Scott came driving up. And Scott's like, oh, I got bone over there. I'm like, check this out. There was bone actually coming out in the road that like people had been driving over for years. So some of the first stuff I found when we came back to actually do the excavation ended up being the type of Dirgavuchia, that little
nice. Yeah.
And then, so that area, so essentially Scott and I discovered this site simultaneously. Because it's big enough, he found one side, I found the middle, and then there's other, as we walked around, we realized that there's bone coming out in other places. So at least here we know there's probably several acres. Like some of these flats, you could...
It's crazy. Several acres of dinosaur-bearing horizon here.
So we could probably go out somewhere and just like start digging down, and there's probably bone there. So early on, we did the excavation over there at what became known as Don's Place, because it was the first place I found. This, of course, was called Scott's Place because of what he found. And then as we worked over there, there was some other bone coming out. Jim was feeling a little left out, so we decided we would call that Jim's Place.
Nice.
So we worked Jim's Place a bunch. I think we took 500 or 600 things out of Don's Place over the years, and then 600 or 700 out of Jim's Place.
Shoot.
And then we had this little area here, of course, was Scott's Place, and then there was a flood in 2010. And it came down this wash during the field season. And one of the final days of the season, Gary Hunt, one of our colleagues, was out here, and he walked down the wash and he saw some bones sticking out of the wall.
Hence Gary's Island, right?
And because it was between where the two washes came together, we called it Gary's Island.
Nice.
And then in 2011, well, the last day, Gary and Jim and I were the only ones here. We dug in and we realized, like, these aren't just any bones; these are sauropod bones, like big long-necked dinosaurs. And
that became Mierosaurus, right? Yeah.
So then we came back in 2011. I actually had a crew over at Jim's Place, and we didn't know what was going to be at Gary's Island, and they started working in. And after a day or two, they're like, "Get over here, Don. We got a lot of bones here." So we ended up kind of abandoning Jim's Place for a while. Well, pretty much since then.
It's not been yielding much since then.
So then that first year we got a bunch of really cool stuff in of the Mierosaurus material, the sauropod, and that's when we found there was the end of a shin bone, the tibia and fibula, that were plunging at an angle. Most of the stuff was flat. This was plunging at an angle, and then it had the full articulated foot. So we realized that this Mierosaur had
got stuck in the mud.
Essentially mired, and then died and fell apart, and so that's why we had so much of the skeleton. And we were kind of hoping it was just that one core. sauropod that got mired, but we did end up with 3 femurs, so we realized.
So there were 3 different Mirasaurus that all got stuck in the same spot.
Well, no, we ended up. Well, so we had 2 that probably go with the.
Oh,
mired
sorry,
animal.
okay.
We found a 3rd, so we knew we had more than 1 individual.
I thought you meant 3 left femurs or something.
Yeah. No. We
Okay,
just, well, so we found an additional one. That
Yeah.
And then we found some other bones that looked.
Yeah.
They were Mirasaurus, but maybe not the right size to go with our guide.
Right.
You know, that's a hard to.
Could be
Ultimately,
multiple individuals.
when
Yeah.
you find a disarticulated dinosaur like that, it would be nice if you just had 1 individual.
Right.
So you knew that
Make a
all
lot
the bones
simpler.
go to that same animal, but
Yeah.
we know we just had a few others mixed in.
There's illustrations of this in Krista Sadler's book, which I'll bring into the quarry one of these days, and we'll take a look at that. But yeah,
Yeah, there's a nice reconstruction where you get.
they're
poor
stuck in the
mired.
mud. Yeah, these poor
And
critters.
it's a little sad to think of because
Yeah.
elephants sometimes get stuck in mud and mired, and
They might live for like a week or something,
yeah, a
right?
week or maybe more. Yeah. So I would think a big,
It's a bad way to die. Yeah.
several ton Mirasaurus could probably live for. Because I bet they ate a lot of plants, but they probably metabolism was fairly slow. They could probably live.
Maybe,
for a
I don't know.
long time,
Yeah. And if the
Anyway,
neck's long enough, they can reach a little bit of
Kind of
vegetation.
sad to think about. Yeah, they got stuck in there.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's one. How many dinosaur taxa did we have just from this one little spot in Doling's Bowl? We've got Mirasaurus, we've got Yurgavuchia.
Yeah, those are the 2 named
Uh-huh.
ones, and then we've got an ankylosaur.
Uh-huh. Which should be new, right?
Yeah, which Jim wants to name here in the next year or 2.
Uh-huh.
And then we've got the iguanodon.
Right.
Iguanodontian is almost certainly new. Karen's working on that.
Mm-hmm.
And that we certainly have multiple individuals of that.
Yeah.
All again disarticulated.
Uh-huh.
You know, some things that probably do go together, but
Uh-huh.
some large things, the majority of them seem to be juvenile animals, not that big. But range, I mean, we've got little deniries, little lower jaws from this big up to this big kind of thing.
Mhm.
So, you know, skull length this big up to little guys.
That's impressive, yeah.
And then we've got a fair amount of disarticulated skull bones.
Uh-huh.
You know, so we pretty much, I think we have representatives of certainly all of the vertebrae, probably certainly all of the limbs, girdle elements.
Nice.
It's just some of the skull things we don't have.
Yeah.
We really want to find a squamosal, which is one of the skull
Yeah.
bones in the back
Really
of the skull,
diagnostic.
because our iguana colossus from over at Don's Ridge that we named, some of the key features of the squamosal. So
Right.
we're pretty sure this is a different guy than that, based
Yeah.
on some of the characters of the.
And also based on the time.
Ontogeny.
Time than Iguana
Yeah, well,
Colossus?
they're both the very bottom of the yellow cat and
Okay.
lower yellow cat. So
Yeah.
we don't know. We're not sure.
Yeah.
It could be pretty. Based on the rocks, they certainly could be very close in time, but
Okay.
we'll need that fossils to tell us that.
Yeah.
You know, we've got Paleontologizing and Therizinosaurs over there. Here we've got only a few little bits of Therizinosaurs.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we would like to find some more of that, but I think we have enough diagnostic things.
Yeah.
We have a couple of brain cases, which is like the back of the skull where the neck attaches.
That could be
From this
diagnostic
guy,
too,
they're
yeah.
pretty diagnostic. The one we have, it has this little prong that kind of hangs down along the base there that's not seen in other.
So that's a unique feature.
Yeah, pretty unique feature, though I guess they're found in some hadrosaurs and things. Karen, when she gave her talk at SVP,
Right, yeah, I remember that.
asked if anybody knew about that, and a few people came up and said, "Oh yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
hadrosaurs with those." Which,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
And
if
then what else would we have here? We got some crocs. We've got some turtles. You know, it would be
Any
nice to know
lungfish?
that there's an or I don't know if we have any lungfish stuff. There were some little things that I thought were like maybe little minnow bones, but I've started to maybe reevaluate that it might be just these tiny little ridlets or something. So yeah, and and we do. Again, as I was talking about, it was nice to have all the parts that go to one animal. We do have 2 morphotypes, so 2 different forms of the ilia, the pelvic bone.
Right.
One that's pretty simple and blade-like, and then one that has more twists and turns to it. So we know we probably have at least 2 different species of.
Which would be really exciting, yeah. Shoot.
Which makes it a little harder for Karen.
Yeah.
We bet
How do you taxon? Yeah.
And the vast majority, we probably have 10 or 15 Morphotype A, the most common one, and then
10 or 15 just from this one site?
yeah, between.
That's nuts. Yeah.
And then from this big to this big.
So if we could find any one element here of these new iguanodontians, would you say squamosal?
Yeah, I think Karen would
All right.
we'd probably say this.
Fisher, I'm coming behind.
Nice.
All right.
It wouldn't be hard to. I mean, it would be nice to find a articulated skull.
Cool. Let's find you a squamosal, Karen.
And then,
Nice.
of course,
That would be great.
just out of interest, we would really like to find some more hand bones.
Yeah, yeah.
It would
We're
see
talking
if
about
they have
that.
a thumb.
Uh-huh.
I mean, unfortunately, we're not going to say they don't. If we find a thumb spike, we can say they have a thumb spike. If we don't find a thumb spike, we can't say that they don't.
Unless
have a
you
thumb spike.
happen to find their ungule from digit 1 and it's
Right,
not a
if
thumb
we
spike,
find an
but
articulated
yeah.
hand that doesn't have a thumb spike, which is
it's not impossible. We
not
could do it.
impossible, no.
Yeah.
The sauropod got mired. We could
Yeah.
get a mired iguanodontian. So.
Yeah. It's crazy to think that the sauropod, because that was directly over this site, right?
Yeah. So as we were digging that up, as we were getting jackets done and
On the sauropod,
flipping,
yeah.
and then we realized there was an iguanodont bone level below, and that's what we're digging now.
Right.
So we've pretty much already taken out all of the level that had the
Right.
pterosaur because of the way it's tilted. We were kind of on the edge, so we got to a certain point, and
Uh-huh.
we knew the layer that we were digging no longer existed over there. It's already been weathered away.
Right.
But that it kept heading in, so we're heading in the down dip direction.
Right.
So that's why we're getting more and more,
Yeah.
more and more
Sweet.
overburden above us.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
More and
Hey,
more
Karen,
rock.
where's your water bottle?
But the
I've got one in my pack and one sitting
it also
next to
means because we are lower here, the
are you
rock
refilling?
is in better shape and the bones are in better shape.
Right, yeah. If
Slightly
they're closer to
harder
the surface
dig
there.
because it's harder, but as we get close to the surface, the roots have gotten down there, the weathering has gotten
Right,
to it,
yeah.
so it's a mixed blessing if you're close to the surface because things aren't in as good a shape. But, and I think anyone who saw some of the stuff from last year realizes like there was some beautiful stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Because
when
we're
we
still
get these
getting
bones
fish.
exposed, that's going to be gorgeous.
4 hours.
Excited to see that.
I'm gonna get some ice for everybody.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Let's see.
I think I've already got some left over, but yeah.
Yeah, this is still fairly cold.
Can always top them off. They're gonna melt anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually, yeah, let me give you a water bottle too, Ethan. If you don't mind.
Yeah.
I have been drinking like a fish here today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I already got one of that.
Let's see.
I kind of feel like
Finish this up.
Water rule.
Yeah,
Makes it easy.
absolutely.
That's yours there, Danny?
All right. Thanks, E.
Yeah. Utah Ceratops.
Ceratopsians.
Anyone else need anything from there? From our campsite?
I think we're good.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks, Ethan.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
a little bit of a gut bomb.
All that ice water. Yeah. Well, nice. Yeah.
I get so excited I puke.
And let's see. What was this? Salamander? Hope everyone is having a less dirt and dust covered day than me. I doubt it.
Oh no, he's getting dirty and dusty.
Yeah, that's the name of the game here.
Did
Ooh.
you say less dust-covered days?
Yeah.
No, that's not a thing.
I don't think any of the viewers are having a more dust covered day than we are.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Unless they're in the middle of a dust devil.
Yeah.
In which case, good luck to you.
Yeah. It's a nice shelf you got going there. Shoot.
Oh, thanks.
That's really
most-
nice for
that's
day
mostly
one.
Ethan's doing.
Yeah.
And we maybe have just a little bit of bone coming out right here.
Oh, bone already.
Or maybe rust from a nail. We're not quite sure
Oh, yeah. Kind of brown rusty spot there.
yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll start being
Nice.
careful around it and see what we get.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and then again, over here by Fisher, this is a winter jacket that we made last year. There's some iguanodont limb bones under here that were gorgeous.
Yeah, but
So
unfortunately found in the very last 2 days.
Not to be
We were
confused with a down winter jacket.
Exactly, yeah. This one's made of plaster and burlap rather than goose down. Duck down, pigeon down. down would be the cheaper option.
Watson down.
Come through, baby.
Ibis down.
That was much softer.
All right, watch out, fish.
Something hot.
Nice. Man, I can't wait to get that jacket off of there. See those bones again. That might be a tomorrow thing, though. We'll see.
Where do you think you gotta take that jacket off? That's
I guess we don't have to, huh?
Following him, but they kept going in, right?
I think they did, yes. We'll have to, yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to take the high wall down up here.
Hmm.
May or may not have to take the jacket off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope we don't have to
Yeah,
take
it
it
would
off.
be nice
That'd be
not to.
nice to not
Yeah, it'd be nice not to have to waste all that material
Yeah, because
and re-expose the bones and everything, but we'll see. Looking at this pic. This has been worn down so much. Not only is the handle, you know, the rubber part probably used to go up to about here. But this side used to be just as long as that side. And yeah,
you can also see
come out to a point probably like here or something.
You can see where you hold it as you're using it as a hiking stick. That's where my hand is rubbed off. Like
That's
so
right
much
here?
Metal, yeah.
Yeah, I can see
Because
that.
I've mainly
There's so
used
much
that
less
as
rust
like a
here.
Prospecting.
I'm sure it's not as old as that pic, but in equally rough shape is this poor whisk broom that's falling apart as I'm using it.
Oh, we had some in.
We've got bits of straw all over the site now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had some in Wyoming. They were
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, like that you keep cutting them off so that
No,
they're
not
like
even
a little
that. They would just
stiffer,
get
but
worn
they just
down.
wear down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But anyway.
It still kind of works.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna mistake that for a bone. so
Corn fibers or whatever.
whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. You can see some of the extraordinarily expensive and arcane equipment that we use in field paleontology.
Yep.
Whisk
Okay.
brooms, paint brushes.
All right. So Jenny, you have.
These very high-tech devices that Dawn is sitting on right now. The pillows. Remember that time a couple years ago? Somebody in chat was like, yeah, I was watching this. My wife walked in and she said, why are you watching a live stream of a homeless encampment?
She wasn't far off.
I mean, fair, yeah.
And we haven't taken that and run with it yet.
To stabilize. So what I would do next?
Yeah.
Not very.
And
So
Kane says, plug the mustard, Danny. I don't think we actually have any Plaquemines mustard bottles here. That's a Wyoming thing. I don't think we have any here. We've got little glue bottles instead. I'm very fond of the big mustard bottles with the twist tops, but I don't think we have any of those here. Yeah. You want me to wheel that away, Fisher?
Or yeah, I think you have a whisk broom.
You can use a couple more scoops.
Yeah, go for it. And Jody Fish, Jim will be out here on Saturday. Yeah, Jim is he's doing a lot better. He's feeling like himself again, which is good. So yeah, he should be coming out here Saturday. So that might be maybe around when we're streaming. That'll be when Jim shows up, more or less. So yeah, let me set this down. And take away that wheelbarrow. Let me know when you're ready, Fish. Yeah, it's good to be out here again. Saying, feels like being home in a way. Yeah. And Son of Austerlitz says, can bad weather thwart excavation progress? Absolutely, yeah. Occasionally it'll get so hot that we'll decide to take a day off, but it would have to be like well over 110 degrees Fahrenheit. What would that be in Celsius, Fisher? 110?
110?
Yeah.
See.
It'd be like 45.
Yeah, I think so.
Shoot.
Around there.
Yeah.
40s.
Yeah, and sometimes we'll get a thunderstorm too, and we'll have to run back to camp. It happens. There's a chance that'll happen today, but at this point, it's 3 p.m. We've got what?
Good to go now.
About 2 hours left. So yeah. All right, let's do the wheelbarrow. Ah, nice. And Paleolympic system. There you go. So Fisher's using a tool over here that we call a McLeod. I need to look this up and see if it has any other names. But I've been told it's designed as a firefighting tool, trail tool. Yeah, it's nice for sticks into a nice pile so that you can then shovel it.
Name for Billy McLeod, 1920 firefighter.
Really? You really knew this.
I'm sure it is named after. Because there's the, what is it, the Pulaski is another firefighting tool that named after the inventor of it, yeah.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, I'm sure Google knows who invented.
Yeah, somebody can look it up.
William
McLeod.
McLeod.
Yeah. And somebody look that up in the chat. The McLeod tool. That one there. What's the etymology? Oh, and then when Don comes back, we gotta ask him about his t-shirt too. We'll do our running series. Don's running shirt of the day. And how long you guys gonna be out there? About 3 weeks, Camaro King. Yeah, until about August 5th, 6th, something like that. So 3 weeks of digging. We'll see how many jackets we get. I wonder how many it was last year. It was probably close to 40 or so, I want to say. We'll see. Yeah. And oh, Filippo, how are you doing, Dyson Dinosaur? What are the goals for this Utah fieldwork? We're going to try and find more of this iguanodont or iguanodonts. There's a good chance we've got 2 different new species here. But yeah, our number one wish, I guess, is to find a squamosal, so we can compare this critter to Iguana colossus and figure out how it's different. I can take that fish if you want. Yeah. Let me set the camera down for a second. Here. We'll do another round. There we go. Oh, here we go. Don, what's the shirt today?
Oh, I broke out a new one for you guys.
Nice.
What happens is, you know, first you get them and they're nice and they're like your dress race t-shirt.
Yeah.
And then eventually as they get old enough, then it's time to sacrifice them for the field. For Echo Triathlon, which is in Echo Reservoir in Colville, just about a half hour from
Oh yeah, we
Park
went through
City.
Colville on the way up to Wyoming.
Yeah. Yep. And then I've done it 5 or 6 times over the last
Nice. Yeah.
10 or 12 years. Didn't do it this year. Actually, they just had it last Saturday. I actually went and volunteered at the race, and
Oh, nice.
I've done like 500 something races in my life.
Yeah, and you want to give somebody else a chance to win one of these. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Now I decided maybe I should volunteer at one after being a leech for the last 40 years.
But
No, actually, it was pretty interesting because I volunteered to work at the finish line. I thought that'd be cool. You see people come in. Like,
yeah, that would be
give
cool.
water and all that. So I started that, but then, you know, I also told the woman, well, you know, I'm willing to do whatever you guys need. And she goes, well, there was one on the run course, which was along this kind of a converted rail trail thing. There was one actual like road crossing, Well, I guess the police officer that was supposed to man it didn't
Oh.
show up. So I had to be crossing guard, and so I had the vest and a flag. The hard part was it was the main entrance into Colville.
Yeah.
But there was a ramp off of I-80, like that just kind of comes right into where that crossing was.
Yeah. We probably passed that on the way through. Yeah.
So it was actually pretty damn stressful because the cops can have their car there with the light on.
Sure,
and
yeah.
But I'm just like in my little vest out there,
Yep.
like, whoa, stop.
They didn't give you a gun
But
or
then I
anything?
had also, because it was an out and back course, so I had runners, once they started going, they were coming from this side and that side.
Yeah.
And then I'm wanting to let the traffic go as well, and so
Yeah.
it was, luckily nobody died on my watch, but yeah, after a couple hours of that, it was like, oh, okay, I'm ready for, someone can come and replace me. So,
Did they give you a shirt at least?
no. But you do get
Keep the safety vest.
Yeah.
No, I got
Yeah.
it. But you do free race entry later in the
Oh,
year or
nice.
next
Okay.
year, so.
Yeah.
And it's over $100 to do like a
Oh, wow.
Olympic distance triathlon.
Gotcha. Okay. So
Yeah.
triathlon is bicycling, running, and
Swimming,
swimming.
a swim, bike, run.
So what's the total distance for that?
So I usually do the Olympic distance at
Yeah.
that, which is a kilometer and a half swim, 40K bike, 10K run.
Wow. Okay.
So a little under a mile swim,
Yeah.
5 mile bike, and 6.2 mile run.
Nice. Wow. It's impressive. Well, cool. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah.
We'll check in with,
Yeah, I
with your
don't know
shirts
if I
later
have
on.
too many new ones but maybe people didn't see them all.
I mean, we've got new viewers and everything. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Cool. Yeah. So everybody, that was our running series, Dawn's running shirt of the day. We'll see more of those throughout the rest of the summer.
There's this thing here. We think it's probably rust from the nail, or just we're probably.
So anywho, yeah. What time is it right now? 3:00. Okay. Cool.
We got a little scared by start to slow down.
Wish I was that motivated, says I can. I'm sure you are about other things. Everybody's got their things that they're passionate about. I don't know. I just went in Wyoming. Was it 32 days in the field without a shower? It's another kind of endurance, I suppose. Yeah, the things that we do for what we're passionate about. Yeah. Jody Fish says, did you bring the shirt I got? Oh, from Iacane. I didn't bring that shirt. No, Iacane. Yeah, I should have, huh? The thing is, it's a black t-shirt, and so that would get really, really hot in the sun out here. This is probably the coolest day we're going to have. Today or maybe tomorrow. The whole season. It'll easily get over like 110 degrees Fahrenheit out here. So I try and bring light colored shirts if I can help it. But I have shown that shirt multiple times on stream. I appreciate it, Iacane. Yeah. And Dyson Dinosaur says, is Karen Poole there? She is, yeah. You want to just say hi to her? Yeah. Here, we'll hopefully at some point be doing some special streams with Karen about ornithischian dinosaurs, phylogeny, that kind of thing. But again, we're still kind of settling in here. There's Karen right there. Karen, Filippo Bertozzo says hello.
Hey, Filippo, how's it going, man?
Yeah, so two different iguanodont experts, one in chat and one on camera.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so again, hopefully we'll be talking about iguanodonts later in the summer with Karen. But yeah, we're still, like I said, reopening the quarry, settling in, trying to hit the ground running here. So yeah. Filippo also streams on Twitch.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think he streams as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm gonna see if maybe it'll be possible for me to join up with him in Belgium before SVP this year and go check out the iguanodon there.
Oh, nice.
At the museum in Brussels.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah, you were talking about that when we were at the museum in Salt Lake.
Yeah,
going into that big enclosure.
It's an amazing museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if you don't go in the enclosure with iguanodon, you can still see it, and it's amazing.
I'm excited. Hopefully I can make it up.
Yeah.
But
Awesome.
yeah, cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah. Like I said, it's going to be kind of a disjointed stream today. We're just getting started off, but I'm happy with the progress we're making already. This is good. This is really good. Yeah. And
He did, but
Let's see.
I think, yeah, and you just gave me the better one, so thanks.
And
That happens all the time.
here, let me take a look. We had a question here. Kane says, I'm passionate about procrastinating. I'll tell you about it later. Sounds like a plan. Yeah. And I can host you at my place if you need. That might be really nice, Filippo. We should talk about that, yeah. I'm going to be hopefully booking my flights to Europe soon. I still don't know if my abstract has been accepted for SVP, but some really cheap flights, like $450 or something, round trip from San Francisco to London. It's nuts. So I might have to jump on that. Yeah. And no one knows. I know, right? That's Dinosaur? Yeah. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Hopefully I don't know. Hopefully we hear back about the abstract soon. But, yeah. And Morgan Lofen, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to Paleontologizing. It's good to have you here. Nice. And very nice, Kane. $400. Yeah. If you get some of these at the right time, you can find surprisingly affordable flights to Europe. I'd try and walk there, but it would take a while, and I don't think that land bridge is still. I don't think it's very reliable nowadays. And there you go, Crimson Garnithorus. I am going to try and jump on that, yeah. Yeah. The Bering Land Bridge has been closed for maintenance, sadly, says Aleppo. I think so, yeah. Yeah. And let's see, Austerlitz said something about any form of automation or motorization. I mean, that's the thing, is that in order to get automation or motorization, you would need electricity out here, which we can't really get. I'm running a satellite dish off of solar power right now. But, if we're talking about like excavation equipment, in order to get that out here, you would need to put it on a trailer and have like a separate vehicle just to take that. It would be like a huge pain in the butt. The way that we do things is actually pretty darn efficient for the, honestly, paltry resources that we have. We're very, very lucky that the Utah Geological Survey lets Jim and Don and Ethan be out here for 3 weeks out of the year. This is really important work, but, the survey doesn't have to let them be out here. And so the fact that we can do this is really, really cool, and we're very lucky. And the idea that we can use some state vehicles to do it that's an incredible luxury as well. We're very lucky already, we're very, very fortunate. And again, huge props to the Utah Geological Survey for making this possible, We do kind of run things out here on a shoestring budget, but the fact that we have that budget at all is, we're grateful for that, for certain. Yeah. And Debleg says, is the Wheelbarrow considered a state vehicle? Oh yeah, it's got state plates on it. Yeah, Fisher there had to go through extensive training with the state of Utah to be able to operate that vehicle. It is considered a motor vehicle because graduate students are considered engines under state law. Or alternatively beasts of burden if they're off of a paved road. So, yeah. But yeah, Crimson Carnotaurus says, imagine the operations that could be run and what we could find if funding was better. I mean, we'll talk to Jim about this when he's out here, but this whole valley through here is just, there are dinosaurs all over the place. They don't look super pretty. It's not the sort of thing that I think poachers would be too interested in, which is fortunate for us. But when you have professional crews out here who know how to identify bones and excavate them properly, you can find incredible stuff. So this whole valley be so many new species just right here. We already have 2 that have been named from this little valley, Yurgavuchia and Mierosaurus. But like Don was saying, we've also got 1 or possibly 2 new species of iguanodon here. We've got a new species of ankylosaur, a new therizinosaur, a new big like carnosaur theropod, maybe a carcharodontosaur or something. And there will be other dinosaurs here too. It's pretty cool. You know, Jim is fond of saying like, oh yeah, you could have 100 crews here working for 1,000 years and still not find everything. Who knows? But yeah, there's definitely a lot here. Yeah. And mentioning Utahraptor seems too on the nose. So Utahraptor isn't actually from here. Utahraptor is it's from the upper yellow cat, isn't it? Utahraptor's upper yellow cat, right? Yeah. Yeah. So it's stratigraphically younger than these fossils and these animals. But yeah, it's also from this area, but not from this particular place. The dinosaurs we're digging here are slightly older than Utahraptor. But we could very well have the ancestor of Utahraptor here. Maybe that's Yurgavuchia, or maybe there's a different ancestor, but it should be here. And there you go, children. A new Carcharodontosaur, or maybe an ancestor to Acrocanthosaurus, possibly Carnothoris. It's notoriously difficult to actually find direct ancestors of certain dinosaurs. But if you ask some dinosaur work, do have the ancestor of this guy or that guy. Triceratops prorsus is probably the descendant. Stuff like that. But typically you need quite a few specimens before you can say that sort of thing with any confidence. But it's not impossible to get a lot of specimens. You can do that. You have an awesome watch. Thank you, Gameverse Man. Look, it's got chat on it. No, that's my phone. I like that you like my watch. Thank you. And anywho. And Gary Ankela says, was this place even called Utah back then? It was not, no. I think Utah is named after the Ute people. And that was, very, very recently in the grand scheme of things. During the Cretaceous. This was land, at least, It wasn't covered by an ocean at the time. Yeah. Oh, and awesome. Hey, Jim is in the chat. Jim says, Morrison manuscript off to publisher. Fantastic. Shoot. Need some air horns. That's awesome, Jim. Holy cow. Good to see you, Jim. I hope you're having a good day. Yeah, let me tour you around the site a little bit. We've, got the shade tarps mostly up and running. All our limb bones that we found last summer and didn't have time to excavate are under this winter jacket right here. Don is working over here. What element do we have under there?
I'm not sure. I took out a big jacket from in here last year, and I know there was some things I just had to cut and
Nice, yeah.
paste. So I might have it. I'll check out the maps and see.
Cool.
But yeah, at least we've got bone knowing it's going in here. So
Nice. Yeah. And Jim says Don needs to do a timesheet before I leave.
oh crap! I've got my computer out here, so
Okay, yeah. And we can set up the internet if you need to.
I'll take care of that. Thanks, Jim.
Yeah.
Wow, now I get paid too.
Yeah, lucky you. We're all volunteering here, but yeah. So we're working on removing this bench over here so that we can get down. There should be more bones continuing in this direction. So we've got to remove all of this overburden. That's what Fisher has been hard at work doing. And then over here, we've got Jenny and Karen and Laura working this bench down over here. And this is, again, beautiful work. Shoot. Like, it almost seems like you guys are archaeologists and not paleontologists. It's just so clean. Like right angles and yeah. Man, I gotta work on doing that too. But yeah.
Ask Jim why he didn't remind me of that on Monday or Tuesday.
What's that?
Ask Jim why he didn't remind me of that on Monday or Tuesday.
There's a lot going on.
There was a lot going on.
Yeah. Oh, do we want to talk about what happened with the trailer? Why we're a day late out here? I could try and find that picture real quick. Is it okay to talk about that?
Sure.
Yeah, we were supposed to be coming out here on Tuesday. Oh, Jim says a clean quarry is a happy quarry. This is true. Here we go. Let's see.
Ontogeny.
Yeah, shoot. So, I was just getting off the plane in Salt Lake City on Tuesday, and was gonna go run over to the Geological Survey to grab my car, and then immediately drive out here. And then just as soon as I get off the plane, I get a text from Jim with this photo. I don't know if you can see that, but that is our regular trailer that we have in camp, and the tongue on the trailer is bent up about, I don't know, like 40 degrees. So the trailer just broke. This is as soon as they got onto the highway, so they had to turn around, and that delayed us by a day. We had to go find another trailer, and I don't know if they'll be able to fix this one. We'll see. But yeah, our trailer that they've been using for like 20 years, well, that may have been the straw that, you know, completely severed the camel's spine, and the camel is now in two pieces. Poor camel. Shoot. But yeah, the trailer. Anywho, we're out here now and things are good. So apologies for being a day late, but sometimes these things happen, you know? That's field work. Yeah. Yeah.
Ontogeny.
Oh, the camel is on life support and may need euthanasia. Don't say that. Camel will pull through. Payne Haynes says, what time period is this dig? The Cretaceous period. This is actually the earliest Cretaceous here. These rocks are maybe like 142 million years old. So this is one of the oldest Cretaceous sites in North America. One of the oldest in the world, but yeah, one of the very oldest in North America, which is exciting. This is just after the end of the Jurassic period, and we'll be talking more about this as the summer goes on. But there's like a major faunal turnover that happens. A bunch of different dinosaur groups completely disappear at the end of the Jurassic, and they're replaced by new ones at the beginning of the Cretaceous, either through migration over from Europe or yeah. And yeah. Monkey's Paradise says, can't tell if you're a paleontologist or a pilot with those shades. Really?
You got the aviators here?
I guess so. Yeah. I don't know. I've never flown a plane before. A secret agent, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. They were inexpensive and they're polarized, which is nice. And oh, and F-type. Thank you for posting that. So the McLeod, M-C-L-E-O-D, McLeod, if you were to say it phonetically. It's a tool or rake hoe with a two-sided blade. One a rake with coarse tines, the other a flat, sharpened hoe on a long wooden handle. It is a standard tool during wildfire suppression, not wildlife suppression, wildfire suppression, and trail restoration. The combination tool was created in 1905 by Malcolm McLeod.
Malcolm, all right.
Malcolm McLeod, a United States Forest Service Ranger at the Sierra National Forest. Very cool. Well, big shout out to Malcolm McLeod for inventing this tool that we use all the time out here. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Again, that's this tool right here. Thank you, F-Typing, for looking that up. Excellent. And Ethan, we've got one of these in Wyoming too, right? Yeah, it's a good thing to have. I'd never actually seen one before working with this crew, and yeah, I frequently recommend that to other folks on other crews. Many of them have never heard of it before. Yeah. But yeah, Gameverse Man says, funny story, my friend always got Cretaceous and crustacean confused and used them interchangeably for years. My dad used to do that too, and I don't know if he was doing a bit or if he legitimately couldn't remember. But he used to say crustaceous all the time. And, yeah. So that's...
A couple weeks out here we get pretty crustaceous.
I suppose that's true. Yeah, check in on day 21 and see what we're like. Yeah. And Gary Yankelis says, all chickens are dinosaurs, but not all dinosaurs are chickens. This is true. You're 100% correct about that. Yeah.
They all tasted like chicken.
Sourdough says, what are some of the meals you'll have while at the dig site? Ooh. That is a good question, yeah. So we
Food?
we do eat really well out here, I gotta say. Like, I've been on field crews before where the meals are not very good, and, you know, we usually do a pretty good job out here.
Got 3 vegetarians on the cruise. So.
We do, yeah. There's me and Fisher and Karen are all vegetarians, so yeah, we're a almost 50% veggie crew right now.
Sounds like
I'm happy to eat
halfway
veg.
vegetarian,
Yeah.
right? You like a lot of veggie food.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't
yeah.
need to eat every
You
day.
could be an honorary vegetarian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say that makes us evenly half.
Nice.
No?
Yeah. Don is the king of making perfect rice. We have the yellow rice pot this year, right?
Yep.
This pot that we use, and Don's able to do just immaculate rice every single time, which is awesome. So we do a lot of meals with rice, so make various curries and stuff. I brought some, like a whole spice tin with like 8 different kinds of spices that we can use for making Indian curry, which I'm excited about. And then, yeah, we'll do Thai curry with tofu. Tonight, I think we're doing real simple. We'll just have burgers, so beef burgers and veggie burgers for everybody. But yeah, we'll do stuff like that.
Grill.
Do what?
We have the barbecue grill.
Yeah, we've got a barbecue grill back in camp, so we can use that. Yeah, we'll do pasta. We'll do a lot of kind of simple, hearty meals like that are, you know, we can make big batches of stuff. And yeah, it's usually 1 hot meal per day, which is dinner. In the morning, we'll have cereal for breakfast, maybe some fruit. I usually have a protein shake for breakfast every morning. And then for lunches, we do kind of like a really simple picnic / school lunch. So it'll be like a sandwich, some chips, some fruit, stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, we eat pretty well out here. Yeah. And Jody Fish, huge batch of stir fry. Yeah, we will hopefully do stir fry as well. Be cool. Jim says, what do I need for my Thai curry? We got tofu already. Yeah, what other ingredients do we need Jim to bring for Thai curry?
We have some of the little Taste of India red curry things, so he doesn't need those.
Okay.
We've got
curry
coconut
paste.
milk. We've got some baby corn.
Uh-huh.
So maybe some of the other veggies that he likes to throw in.
Other veggies?
I mean, I'm sure we have canned potatoes.
Yeah.
Maybe we haven't. We got to look through some of the.
Yeah. We'll have to do inventory just to see what we've got.
We'll send you a list on Friday if there's anything we need.
Sounds good, yeah. Yeah, we'll send you a list, Jim. Cool. Do you ever make a big batch of beans? I don't know if we do that. We typically, if we're gonna have beans, it'll be like canned beans. We don't cook a lot of dry beans out here. Yeah. And Alexander Morrison is, of course, asking about crocodilomorphs. Did you find a crocodilomorph tooth out here last year? I think we did. Wasn't there a good croc tooth last year, Ethan?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. So, with any luck, maybe we'll find more of that critter this year. We'll see. Who
Most of
knows?
the tooth mark evidence we have, they appear to be crocs.
Oh, nice. Do we have a lot of tooth marks?
Yeah, a lot of the ankylosaur osteoderms, a lot of them have croc
Interesting.
tooth marks, yes.
Okay.
That's how they clean their teeth. They just chew on the hide of a ankylosaur.
There you go.
Kind of like the dinosaur milk bone kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we a lot of conical punctures.
But, yeah. Very good that we get croc representation in the Dinosaur Dig. Oh yeah, crocs are pretty ubiquitous throughout the Mesozoic. Yeah, there's usually some around. And Halle Bear, I am in Utah again, yeah, near Moab. Yeah. And Judas Rudent says, what defines a crocodilomorph? Why aren't they considered true crocodilians? So true crocodilians, as I understand it, that's the common ancestor of all of today's crocodilians. So crocodiles, alligators, caimans, gharials, they all shared a common ancestor, I think at some point during, I want to say the early Cenozoic, during like the Paleogene period. So all the crocs, when I say crocs, I'm referring to like a broader group, crocodilomorphs. I think everything that we have in the Mesozoic is a crocodilomorph, but I don't think we have any true crocodilians yet. Crocodilians are a more specific group that, like I said, includes the ancestor of all modern crocs, plus all the descendants. Yeah, so I think that group originates after the extinction of the dinosaurs, except for birds. Yeah, I think that's basically how it goes. Yeah. We have flash floods here, so keep an eye out. Okay, Halle Berry, will do. Yeah. We always keep a close eye out on the weather here. And right now we had what looked like some pretty threatening looking clouds that have since dissipated. We were a little bit worried about thunderstorms this afternoon, but... Yeah. 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 And crocs are pretty ubiquitous. Yeah, there you go, Grand Bridget. And that's the thing, too, is that I think crocs are a little bit overrepresented in the fossil record in the sense that they are semi-aquatic. And so in the spots where you get fossils preserved, rivers, lakes, floodplains, swamps, places where you have water laying down sediment, that's the natural habitat of crocs. And so the fossil record for crocs is really, really good. Much better than creatures that tend to live in other sorts of environments that might be a lot drier. I don't know, like the fossil record for animals that live in montane environments, like mountainous environments, is pretty poor, just because mountains are erosional environments. Things might, critters might die up in the mountains and then get washed down in creeks and streams into the lowlands and then get buried, but that's going to be a rare occurrence. Depositional environments, rivers, lakes, creeks, streams, oxbow lakes, floodplains, stuff like that. Those are your prime spots for getting fossils preserved, and that's where crocs are hanging out. So they get preserved as fossils quite a bit. And also, they tend to go through a lot of teeth throughout their lifetimes. They're always shedding teeth and growing new ones. And so croc teeth are one of those things that are easily identifiable and pretty common. One croc might go through hundreds or thousands of teeth during its lifetime. And so, even if they're even if crocs aren't the most abundant animals in an ecosystem, you might still find material from them more often than you would expect. Not just teeth, but also their osteoderms. Those armor plates in their skin are pretty distinctive. So once you find one, you go, yep, that's definitely a croc, you know? They're unmistakable, pretty much. So yeah, crocs are very well represented in the fossil record.
Yeah, they rule.
Yeah.
They're super handy.
And there you go, Gary and Kellis. And another question, what's the difference between a tyrannosaurid and a tyrannosauroid? So tyrannosauroids, that's a bigger group. So that's the tyrannosaurids plus their close relatives. So tyrannosaurid is more specific. That's part of Tyrannosauridae, that family. Tyrannosauroidea is all the tyrannosaurids plus their buddies. If that makes sense. Yeah. And there you go, Grand Bridget. Yeah, sometimes crocs. Modern crocs will also dig burrows too, like on land. Alligators in the American South will dig burrows in order to wait out, like bad times of the year. It gets too cold, there's not enough food, whatever. We'll sometimes dig burrows just to hang out there. Yeah. And Sourdough says, have you done any non-dinosaur digs? I've done a few, yeah. I've dug up fossil fishes from the Cenozoic in Nevada. Very, very, very brief field work in Fremont, California, digging up some Ice Age mammals. I'm hopefully going to be doing more of that in the next few years because it's so close to home, but haven't done a great deal of that yet. Let me know when that wheelbarrow is ready and I'll go ahead and take it. So I'm contributing something, apart from just noise. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then a ton of stuff at Turtle Hill too. But yeah. And Chicken Bacon Swiss says, is it true that the natural lifespan of crocodiles is unknown? They live very long? Not really. I mean, they will die of old age after a while. It's not like they can live forever. Yeah, I think it's that kind of nobody's bothered to really check how old some of the oldest ones are. I'll take that, Ethan.
That's right. Unless you, yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Here. Let's see. There we go. There we are. Oof. All right. And get the steps in. Exactly, yeah. No, it's I like to run with the wheelbarrow. Like getting that momentum, not only is it fun, but like helps keep it from tipping over. Wheelbarrow is not my favorite tool, so try and do things to make it a little bit more interesting. Yeah. And let's see. Oh, and Ava's here in the chat. I'm micro-picking through Turtle Hill Matrix right now. Holy cow, there's Fisher over there, he says hello. Hope you're doing well, Ava. Sorry I didn't recognize your username at first. But, find anything good in the Turtle Hill stuff yet? Any more mammal teeth?
I'm gonna let her tell you. But yes, there is good stuff in there.
Oh, you've been hearing about it? Mm-hmm. Holy cow, fish. He was going to be out here until I showed up and just, shoot, here's Fisher. We thought he was going to be slaving away in the Eocene for the next few weeks, but nope. Lucky us. We get to... I'm going to move my backpack out of the sun so my water in there doesn't heat up too much. There we go. There we are. A shark tooth and many fish teeth. Wow, 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 that's awesome, Ava. Holy cow. Good stuff. Fisher's seen most of it. Very, very cool. Excellent. Yeah. Nobody expects the spontaneous Fisher. It's true. Yeah. Just like his namesake, Fisher is all wily and lanky creature.
What'd you call me?
No, I was calling Fisher that.
No, I'm just kidding.
Let's see.
Lanky Therium.
Nice. Thanks for the cold water, Ethan.
Yeah, buddy.
Nice. It is so nice to have cold water out here. I know that might not sound like a big deal, or maybe it sounds kind of frivolous, but holy cow, having cold water is so nice. It's so nice. Yeah. And Heels says, how much water do you have to bring for a dig? Probably more than 3 gallons. Yeah, probably significantly more than that. I don't know, how much water do you think we have in camp right now, Don?
I think there's...
Is there 6-gallon jugs?
6.5 gallon jugs.
Yeah.
And what do we got, 8 of them or something?
So that'd be 48 plus 6.5.
Gallons to start with.
So that's going to be 3. So yeah, well over 50 gallons we've got in camp right now. And then we've got places we can resupply with water that aren't too far away. So we'll do a water run maybe once a week?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
And if we fill up that barrel, we'll have some...
Yeah, it's like a 50-gallon barrel, right?
Yeah, so
Shoot.
we could probably do 2/3 of it. So
Yeah, yeah.
like another 35 gallons of extra.
Darn, how would we fill that if we
Got a
have it in
hose.
the bed of the truck, basically?
Yeah, and we have a hose. And fill it
Oh, that's what the hose is for.
Yeah, and
Okay,
if you-
gotcha.
If you fill it like 2/3, you can kind of lay it down and roll it off and just kind of...
That makes sense, yeah.
Bring it off.
Yeah, yeah. Nice. That's a new innovation this year. I don't think we had the giant water barrel
we've
last
had
year.
it. I mean, we've had it for years. We just haven't brought it out in the last couple of
Gotcha.
years. Our little pump on top was busted that we had to replace, and then
Another new innovation this year is these, the rotary hammers, which are really nice to have. This one doesn't have the... I guess Ethan took the handles off of them, but usually there's a handle that extends off of here and goes at a 90-degree angle off of it, so it looks kind of like an MP40 submachine gun. Yeah. Oh, you can demonstrate for us?
I was thinking this week, because normally we have the big giant Hilti to do overburden,
Yeah, yeah.
but you have to fire up the generator and it's big and loud. Now it's not like here. I know this is that jacket from last year. So I know this is pretty much the bone level going in. So I know this is a little above it, but if I just hammer all this, it would take a while. But
Yeah,
here,
but with
I think
this, you just bust it through. Nice.
Oh, yeah, enough to,
Yeah. Cuts through it like butter.
yeah, save some pounding.
So and up here, this is above our bone layer, so
Yeah,
Don
so
can
it's
work here
lower
without
there.
really
Yeah, I can
worrying
feel
about
pretty good about going through that.
going through the bones. Yeah. Yeah. Milwaukee MP40.
M40.
M40. There you go. Yeah. Not to be confused with E40. Who's a music artist from where I'm from Oakland. Yeah. And Melted Jedi. I was looking at your YouTube last night. Was sharing with some friends. But oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. Look at that. The jacket keeps going. Nice.
I remember it being much larger than this, so there's quite a bit more lateral.
Yeah, because we stopped at the wall, right? Like those bones were continuing in that direction?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like 2 fibulae, and I think it's either like a big femur or a humerus or some other giant one bone. But
Nice. Shoot.
this is going to be a lot of work to get out, I think.
Yeah.
We have a
That'd
lot
be
of
cool.
time now, so.
If you want, anybody watching right now, we might not actually take this jacket off, so you might not be able to see the bones this season. But if you would like to see those, that should be in one of the VODs from last summer. Should be from, I think the last stream from Utah last summer. The last one of the season should have a whole bunch of bones there. I remember that being kind of a quiet stream because we were just working so hard. I was like purposefully ignoring chat. Yeah. And PJ says E40 claim is V-Town. V-Town? Is that Vacaville? Or no, that's Vallejo, isn't it? Okay, that makes sense. Too short is Oakland, yeah. Okay, you got it. Yeah. Vallejo, yeah. That makes sense, yeah. Yeah. And Buff says, so why not knee pads? I don't know, knee pads kind of get in the way.
I got meat pads instead.
There you go. Yeah, we just
sweaty under there.
have tough knees, and they do get really sweaty. Yeah, I've worn knee pads in the field, and they're
Kneeling on the pillows, and then when you get up, you don't have them.
yeah.
Like it, but I never.
I'll tell you later.
I know what you're thinking for sure. Yeah. But yeah. Knee pads. We've got these pillows that we use. Don's sitting on one right now, but we also kneel on them. Or how's your helmet doing, Fisher?
Pretty terribly.
It's mostly tape at this point.
Yeah.
Shoot. Gotta get you a new one of those.
Yeah, I'm probably due.
Yeah.
Like this, it's from like the 80s.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's seen better days. But
I think mine is probably from like the 60s, but I got it in 2012 and it was new then. But it's seen better days. This might be its last field season.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, I probably spent like 6 hours just putting tape on this at this point.
yeah, and shoot, if you paid yourself $100 an hour,
Yeah.
that's $600. You know, you could have bought 2 of these by now.
Yep. But I don't know. I was raised to never waste anything. And
Yeah, you mend things. You know, extend their life as far as you can. Yeah.
It is tedious though.
I don't know. Sometimes when you think about like, oh, I should really replace this or that, it's taking too long to repair.
I guess fish around for
It
sure.
can get really wasteful, you know? You don't want this to end up in a landfill before it's time.
Yeah. The nice part is that since we have the shade tarps, I don't have to wear it for most of the time I'm here.
Yeah.
But today, running back and forth with the wheelbarrow, so I
Yeah.
want to keep my brain from frying.
Yep. Don't want to get that gray matter all addled.
All breaking.
Yeah. So, yeah, anyways, Fisher's is a U.S. Postal Service
That's right.
model, and mine is U.S. military. I think this is Marine Corps. Might be Army, I forget. It used to say in there, it had a little stamp, but it's since worn off. But, like I said, this is probably the last season for this guy. I've had this since 2012. Used it most years in the field, when it's really hot out. But I've got a brand new one at home. So I'll be retiring this one, and I'll bring out the new one. But yeah, the sun helmet. And Care Bear Bonfire says that hat will be in the Smithsonian someday. I don't think I'll wear it when I go to the Smithsonian. We'll see. It's more of a field, you know, head covering. Yeah. Ooh, is that bone?
It is, it's dirt.
Dirt. Nice.
Pretty much the same thing, right? It's like a bunch of loose particles together
Yeah.
in the ground.
We call sediment. Let me. And then take the wheelbarrow over to dump town.
Big dump job.
Can I do this with one hand? No. I'm gonna hold the camera like this. There we go. Ugh. There we go. All right, let's go empty that wheelbarrow. And let's see. Casual desert cardio. There you go. And there you go, Mayor Space. Yeah. We don't have a quarry dog here at this site, but yeah, not like we had Edie earlier in the summer in Wyoming. I don't know, I guess I'm the next best thing though. Walking around making noise. Just randomly running. And is it possible to find gems out there, says Sourdough.
That's what we're really after. Give us that treasure.
Yeah, we do have some like semi-precious stones, maybe. I don't know. Let me go take a look.
Some agate.
Some agates, yeah, agatized stuff. It's right here on the surface. Yeah, some of this stuff like this. Yeah, quartzy things. Yeah, but I don't know. It's cool, but it's not what we're after. We're doing this for science, you know. Not for fortune and glory. No, if we. Yeah.
Not money and glory.
Let me take that wheelbarrow again. Set you down, chat. All right. All right. We've got iguanodon with his VR headset. X-ray specs.
Optivisor.
No, so there's just little magnifying glasses on there.
He's wearing that little headlamp.
Yeah.
That's what's going on.
I got one of those for back home, and it's really useful
Yeah, I
sometimes.
use it all the time.
Yeah.
Even
I didn't bring it out here though.
at
I should've
home.
done that.
We've got a couple of
Yeah.
In the lab and field, they're pretty nice to have.
Look at that.
Yeah, Lordy actually used that when she worked in a jewelry shop. Yeah. So she's got one back home too. I didn't realize after I bought mine. She already had one. Yeah. And any avian archosaurs spotted? Yeah, we saw what might have been a raven or something last night. But today I haven't seen a single bird all day. This is an extraordinarily dry, desolate environment. And so, yeah, I'll keep you appraised of our bird tally. But so far we've been here for just over 24 hours, and we have a grand total of 1 bird spotted. Yeah, I'll try and keep track this year. But yeah, 1 bird spotted so far. I was here for, I don't know, I think it was like 2 summers ago. I think there were like 11 birds the whole summer, and half of those were probably the same bird that I saw in multiple days. Like same individual bird. I'm not saying 11 species, I'm saying 11 total times I saw any kind of bird. So, yeah, again, very, very desolate environment out here. This is super dry. It's kind of crazy how dry it is. Although I've seen 2 different species of non-bird reptile so far. I saw I think it was like a leopard lizard today. And last night as I was walking to my tent, big old snake, big old bull snake. Just beautiful, just hanging out there, just sitting there totally still, trying not to get spotted by me. But I left her alone. Yeah. Yeah, bull snakes are super, super cool petrodactylists. They're really neat. Yeah. But anywho, yeah. And Thursday non-burbs day. I know, right, Jody Faye? Be outside literally all day long. From the moment we wake up and exit our tents to, you know, the moment we get into our tents to go to sleep. Like every daylight hour we're outside, and not to see a single bird is insane. There's just so few large living things out here. It's kind of nuts. Yeah, really is. And acceptable enough, says Alexander Morrison. Yeah. And what does that snake eat there, I wonder, says Gally's. Probably lizards, and probably mostly little rodents. We have seen a jackrabbit and a pack rat so far. I know rabbits are lagomorphs. Don't jump on me for that. But yeah, lots of little rodents out here. Their burrows are all over the place. We rarely see them. I think they mostly come out at night. But there was a very curious pack rat running around camp this morning that we were able to spot. And yeah. And let's see here. And holy cow, is Balint here in the chat? I must have missed him. Science streams. Oh, maybe not. Let's see. Oh, there you go. Holy cow. Balint, I hope you're having a great day. It's good to see you. I actually need to give you a call about TwitchCon one of these days. I was going to try to yesterday, but most of the day and kept losing reception. But yeah, everybody, we've got exciting news about TwitchCon. I don't know if I can tell you yet, but yeah. I'm pretty excited. Pretty excited. It's gonna be good. And hi to you too, Balint. I hope you're having a great day. It's good to see you. But I don't know if I can tell you yet, Claire. Yeah, good stuff. And Carva Upali says, hello, how does this place differ from the Wyoming side in terms of possible things to find? Ooh, great question. So in Wyoming, we had several different quarries running simultaneously. So we had a big duck-billed dinosaur, we had a bonebed with ankylosaurs and fishes and other critters. We had Turtle Hill, we had the Ceratopsian site. We had people going out and prospecting and finding additional sites too. Here we're focusing on one bonebed. So we'll be working this site for the whole 3 weeks that we're out here. And so here we've got some iguanodont dinosaurs. So these are an earlier precursor to the duck-billed dinosaurs that we were digging up in Wyoming. Those guys are about 73 million years old, something like that. Give or take. We still don't have super good dates for the almond formation. But that's from the late Cretaceous period. This is from the very beginning of the Cretaceous period here. These rocks are about 143 million years old, 142, something like that. So much, much older. Yeah, there's about as much time in between the Wyoming stuff and today as there is between the Wyoming stuff and here. It's quite a lot of time. But yeah, we're mostly focusing on the iguanodonts here, but anything we find in the quarry we'll dig up, obviously. We'll collect, we'll document. We might find more croc material. We might get really lucky and find some more theropod material here. But the iguanodonts are why we're here. We've got 1, possibly 2 new species of iguanodont from this quarry. And right there where Ethan and Fisher are working, see that big white blob? That is a winter jacket. So we found a bunch of limb bones last year. Didn't have time to actually get them out of the ground. So we covered them with a protective jacket and then buried that so that we can get them out this year. And that's going to be some exciting stuff. We have a lot of material from this animal. And hopefully we'll be able to do some histo on it. Actually be able to figure out like how old these critters were when they died. Because that's really, really important to know for dinosaurs. They change so much as they grow and develop. You know, oftentimes different, you know, young or old dinosaurs have been mistaken for different species when it's just, they change a lot during their lifetimes. So it's important stuff to consider. Yeah. And do you have a favorite time or age that you prefer to dig in and research on, Compstar? Definitely the Cretaceous period, yeah. But when you say the Cretaceous, that's a huge chunk of time. It goes from like 144 to 66 million years. So what's 144 minus 66? That would be 36 plus 44. So that's 40 plus 40. That's 80 million years. 80 million years in the Cretaceous. That's nuts. So yeah, the Cretaceous period is significantly longer than the entire Cenozoic so far, the entire age of mammals. So one geologic time period is longer than an entire geological era. It's impressive. But yeah. And big chunk of change, so to speak. Exactly, Golganek. Yeah. And is there a final turnover that separates the early and late, says Salamander? There's several. Yeah. I don't know if they're true turnover events, but you do get big, well, no, there's a few, I guess. Yeah, in the early Cretaceous, I don't know, the fauna that we have represented here, we've got iguanodont dinosaurs, we've got sauropods, which very well might be Turriosaurs. It's this weird group that's, there's a lot of them in Europe. In fact, that might be where these guys came from. We've got ankylosaurs here. We've got dromaeosaurs like Yurgavuchia and Utahraptor. Yeah, we've got what's probably like a big Carcharodontosaur or something in this environment too. We found very tantalizing hints of, but nothing that we can name yet. Yeah, and then later on in the upper yellowcat member of the Cedar Mountain Formation, you get a slightly different fauna. Largely the same cast of characters, but just a little bit different. Different ankylosaur, different therizinosaurs, different dromaeosaurs, stuff like that. Do we have therizinosaurs in the upper yellowcat? I bet you we do. And anyway, you go up through the Cedar Mountain Formation, and the cast of dinosaur characters is just constantly changing. Yeah, and then you get into other geological formations too. You get into the Cloverlea, and then you get into some of the stuff in like the Upper Cretaceous, and dinosaurs are changing. Sauropods disappear in North America, and then they come back during the Maastrichtian. You get Alamosaurus living in the southern part of North America at the very end of the Cretaceous. That's something that I'm always trying to emphasize to new folks who are here in the chat is when we talk about the age of dinosaurs, we're talking about a bunch of different ages. Like, it's a constantly changing cast of characters. You have lineages that rise and fall, species that evolve and go extinct, lineages that appear and disappear. The age of dinosaurs is super long. It's like 175 million years, or longer, depending on how you count it. There's a lot going on. Things don't stay the same. They're always changing. And, I think it's important. And anywho, good stuff. Ms. Art Rule says, have we found the missing link between dinosaurs and birds? Yes or no, it depends on who you ask. Like, what are you looking for in particular? We've got critters like Archaeopteryx, which are a beautiful kind of in-between that sort of bridges the gap between non-avian and avian dinosaurs. But what came before Archaeopteryx? That's the thing about missing links, and why I'm not particularly fond of that term, is that as soon as you find the missing link, then suddenly there are two more missing links on either side of it. The more that you find, the more gaps you create. You just had one gap to start with, and you fill that, and now there's a gap on either side of that one. Now there's two gaps. But we've got, in a lot of ways, some, like a pretty decent transition from birds to dinosaurs in like a mosaic evolution kind of sense. Meaning that like different features that modern birds have show up in dinosaurs. Some of them are super early on, things like wishbones. Some of the first theropod dinosaurs, really early on critters like Coelophysis, they already have a wishbone. The furcula, the fused clavicles in the chest. We think that all theropod dinosaurs, probably had wishbones. Furculae, the furcula is the wishbone. But other things like, like feathers, like semilunate carpal bones, the like half-moon-shaped bone in the wrist in birds and in bird-like dinosaurs. Things like pygostyles, the short, stubby, like tail-nubbin thing that birds have that the tail feathers attach to. All of these things appear in different groups of dinosaurs, and not necessarily in like a super clean and neat order, where you're just accumulating traits as you move along. Sometimes they'll pop up in one group, but not in another group, and that's kind of how evolution works. It's not a straight, orderly progression from one group of animals to another. It's much more complex. It's not like a straight line of descent. It's often more of a kind of a tangled bush, if that makes sense. But, Anywho. Branches versus straight line. Exactly, Alexander Morrison. Well put. And Crimson Carnotaurus says, you find one answer in the ground, you get 100 more questions. Exactly, just like any subject, The more you learn about something, the more questions you have. The more you're able to ask intelligent, thoughtful questions about a subject after you've learned about it. It almost kind of goes hand in hand with like Dunning-Kruger. There's this, if you're familiar with It's slipping my mind right now. Dunning-Kruger effect? Is that what it is? Is effect the word that I'm looking for? But it's this idea that, like, the people who are least knowledgeable or skilled in a particular area often think that they're particularly knowledgeable or skilled. It's like they don't know enough to realize how little they know. And the more you learn, kind of the more your confidence drops a little bit, because you realize how much more there is to know that you don't know. And then eventually you kind of reach a plateau where it's like, okay, I know pretty much everything there is to know about this so far. And then you become an actual expert. But, yeah, it is the Dunning-Kruger effect. There we go. Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting. Science works kind of the same way, where it's like at the beginning of a line of inquiry, you know the least about that. And the more you learn, the more questions you have. It's like the more that you learn, the more you realize the scope of your ignorance, which is exciting. I think scientists in general, like, we have to be comfortable with the phrase, I don't know. In fact, we have to kind of celebrate that, because if there's something we don't know yet, that means it's still out there yet to be discovered. And that's exciting. And the more you discover, the more questions you have. That's how we build up these, these understandings of the natural world. Is the more you learn, the more you're able to hone your questions so they get more specific, they get more thoughtful. You're able to ask the right questions and run the right experiments in order to find out things that are actually meaningful. Yeah. And there you go, Gomstar. Yeah. Lovely quote from Albert Einstein. The more I learn, the more I realize how much I don't know. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And Pate B says, I have some learning to do about my pitfalls and things I was previously smug about. I think we all do. Yeah. That's part of being a thoughtful person who's always learning new things, is you have to be well aware of your own ignorance in certain areas. And, yeah, be humble about it. Yeah. And Cringe Balloon says, are there any questions in paleontology that will likely never be answered? I don't know. I try not to be too strident about stuff like that. Because when I was a kid, just about every children's dinosaur book had a line in it somewhere that said something like, well, we don't know what color dinosaurs were, and we'll never know what colors any dinosaurs were, because, those things just don't fossilize. And that was wrong. As it turns out, on some occasions, we can figure out the colorations of extinct dinosaurs by skin and fossil feathers. By looking at the preserved color cells in those things, we can figure out what colors these critters were. Let's get some Sinosauropteryx emotes going in the chat if we have any tier 3 subscribers. But yeah. So I try not to be too pessimistic about this or that, because you never know what kinds of new methods future researchers will come up with in order to answer questions that we thought previously unanswerable. I think some scientists are a little bit too reticent or maybe a little bit too, what's the word that I'm looking for? Too cautious, maybe. Well, we'll never know this. It's like, do you know that we'll never know that? Don't shut yourself off to that possibility. Maybe we'll be able to come up with some sort of methodology for testing that question. Maybe we'll find an amazing specimen that allows us to actually test these ideas. You never know. You never know. And that's exciting, There we go. There's those Sinosauropteryx. So those critters there are, they actually have pigments preserved in their fossil feathers, melanosomes, which are the color cells that tell us that critter was kind of an orangey sort of a hue. Orange or kind of a reddish on top, and then lighter color underneath, possibly like a white, and then with whitish stripes running up the tail. Super cool that we've been able to figure that out. And again, it shows that those books that I read when I was a kid were wrong. We were able to figure out what colors this particular dinosaur was. which is really exciting, you know? Yeah. But, yeah. And Atari head game, interesting. X head game consoler. Did a room in quantum photonics with a paleontologist study research paper. He did a study about running speed analysis for the. Interesting, yeah. Yeah, so like, I've also heard people say, well, we'll never know how fast certain dinosaurs could move. It's like, really? You sure about that? If you find a trackway that you can attribute to a particular dinosaur taxon, a genus or species, then yeah, you might be able to make inferences from that. You can actually figure out the running speed, like how fast an animal was moving, if you have things like the length of the limbs, the hip height, and then the if you know the size of the animal, basically, if you know its dimensions, then you can figure. Which is really cool. Trace fossils, exactly, Claire. Yeah. And another stream. Oh, very cool, Crimson Carnothoris. Nice, nice. And there you go, Deathsaurus. Yeah, Boreala pelta, rust red, thanks to the beautiful preservation. Exactly. Yeah. So that's the thing. I mean, those discoveries, that might sound, I don't know, some people might think that sounds kind of frivolous, like, oh, you're able to figure out what color a dinosaur was? Big whoop. But think how incredible that is. Think about what that says about us as human beings. That we've been able to create a society where at least a few people can go out during the year and excavate fossils, bring them back to the lab and study them, and figure out what kinds of creatures were living at what times during Earth history, and then figure out what kind of lives they led, what kind of biology they had, what colors they were. Like, that is incredible. That's an incredible testament to human ingenuity and curiosity and hard work and cleverness. I think that's extraordinary. And I don't know, I think in a way that's one of the things that makes us human. This ability to look back into the past, even past, you know, hundreds of millions of years ago, and figure out the history of our planet and the living things on it. That's nuts, you know? No other creature does that. But we can do that as human beings. We can figure out where we came from. We can figure out what the Earth was like when our little puny mammal ancestors were running around at the beginning of the Cretaceous period. We can figure out what kinds of creatures they would have fled from. That's so cool. That's so cool. And Kazuya says, have we seen color differences in male and female dinosaurs like we see in some birds? That's an excellent question and a tricky one, because so far, short of finding medullary tissue and bones that tell us that a dinosaur was A, female, and B, about to lay her eggs, apart from a few isolated cases like that, we've never been able to figure out how to tell the difference between a male and female dinosaur. I suspect that they would have had coloration differences, just like you see in a lot of birds today. But no one's been able to demonstrate that using color differences yet. I say yet. Maybe it'll happen in the future. Although there are a couple of cases I can think of off the top of my head where differences in the feathers, not necessarily in the coloration, but in like the length of the tail feathers in certain fossil birds, that has been interpreted as male-female differences. Sexual dimorphism, as we call it. There's a bird called from the early Cretaceous of China. And there seem to be maybe thousands of specimens of this bird, and about half of them have long paired tail feathers, almost like, picture like a peacock feather, the really long on their tail. About half of them have it, and about half of them don't. That could be male-female differences. It could also be immature and mature. We're not sure, but it has been interpreted by some authors as being sexual dimorphism, male, female. I'm sure there's interesting ways that you could test that further, but and there are probably people working on that right now. But yeah. And pennant weighing nightjars have the sexual dimorphism. There you go, Rowan Studios. Yeah. But yeah, like Scoop says, it could also be ontogenetic. Who knows? There's different ways that you could test that. You could try and see if any of them have medullary bone, that ring of bone that female birds have when they're about to lay eggs. Although even that has been called into question recently by some authors. So it's complicated. I think more work needs to be done on whether medullary bone is really a reliable indicator of sex, and whether it actually is medullary bone or whether it's something else. I don't think that's totally resolved yet. Yeah. And youngsters are adult. There you go, Charlie's Dragon. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. That's the thing that I want to emphasize too, is that there's so much yet to be discovered, learned, tested in fossil science. Paleontology is a very kind of new field in a lot of ways. The word paleontology was only coined in I think 1830 by Henri Marie Descartes de Blainville, French naturalist. He came up with the word paleontology in like the 1830s. The idea of extinction is kind of newer than our conception of the atom, which is crazy to think about. That like we've had models of atomic structure for longer than we've had the idea of extinction in science. Like extinction is a fairly new discovery in the grand scheme of things. It's a lot newer than gravity, you know? That's crazy to think about. Paleontology in many ways is a thoroughly modern science. It's fairly new as far as scientific disciplines go, and we're making new discoveries all the time in fossil science, in dinosaur paleontology in particular, fossils in particular. I've presented research on this before. Over the past decade, there's been an average of 38 new dinosaur species named every year. I think it's 38.1 over the past decade. So that's one new dinosaur published every 9.58 days. So that's practically one every week, which is crazy. That's a really rapid pace. And of course, not all of these are going to be valid. Like some of them are, there's going to be some goofs in there. It'll turn out that some of these dinosaurs that have been newly named, they're just juveniles or adults of dinosaurs that have been previously named. Stuff like that. But still, like the number of new dinosaurs being published is impressive. I think we've got about 25 so far this year, just in the year 2025. It's been a pretty good year so far. We might see a decline in that over the next few years, just because science funding has been gutted here in the United States. We're starting to see the effects of that here. I'm sure we'll be talking about that later on in the summer too. But yeah, fossil science is important. Like this is the sort of thing that on the history of life on Earth and our place in it as human beings. But fossil science is also inspiring to people. There are so many scientists around the world and people in other knowledge fields, physicians, philosophers, lawyers, historians, librarians, just people who, you know, they think for a living and they write stuff down for a living. And they're trying to expand the sum total of human knowledge. So many of those people first fell in love with learning because of dinosaurs. I think if we didn't have dinosaur science, we would have fewer people in a lot of those fields. So our science is really important in the grand scheme of things. It's important to the progression of the human species, you know, to our thriving on this planet. If we want to learn new things in any field, it's important to fund this kind of work, you know? Yeah. Several species and a turtle, yeah. Cough, Dakota raptor, cough. And let's see, 3G in the house says, new to the stream, what's your greatest find to date? Ooh, I get this question a lot. The best thing I've ever personally found was probably that new species of ceratopsian dinosaur I found back in 2012. It's not been published yet, but yeah, I actually showed that off on stream when we went to visit Denver Fowler's Museum in North Dakota back in February. That was pretty cool. We got to see Danny Ceratops firsthand. That's not the name of the dinosaur. It's not been named yet, but that's the name of the site. Denver named it because I couldn't come up with a name fast enough. But yeah, pretty exciting. Yeah. And Starmy says, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm a historian now, but my first passion was dinosaurs. There you go. Many such cases. Thank you, Starmy, for saying that. That's actually something that I really want to do. I've talked about this many times before, but I really want to commission a study, like a representative survey of people in different knowledge fields, scientists, doctors, philosophers, historians, people like that, librarians, everybody else, and just be like, hey, how many of you first fell in love with learning through dinosaurs when you were a kid? And that puts you on the path to the career that you have today, and it's in a way responsible for the discoveries that you've made, for your contributions to the sum total of human knowledge. I would love to get an actual number on that, you know, and be able to point to it and say, hey, paleontology, dinosaur paleontology, maybe in particular, is really important. This is contributing to our, you know, progress is kind of a non-ideal word, but our progress as a species, you know? And Gomstar says, I loved dinosaurs as a kid, so now I work in IT. Well, there you go. Yeah. We might have kind of an overrepresentation of this story here in our chat, because we talk a lot about dinosaurs, we dig up dinosaurs, all that stuff, but I'd love to know what's the actual, I'd love to have some actual numbers, some solid data on this. I think that would be really cool. Yeah. And Awkward Cyborg says, I'm a geomatics engineer, but I first fell in love with dinosaurs. There you go. Yeah, many such cases. And Serial Skiller says, I'm a theologian and a church historian, and the first thing I got into was dinosaurs. There you go. Yeah. That's awesome, Serial Killer. Yeah. And Geek Store says, what's the ratio between private funding versus government funding? Approximately, of course, is there an uptick in private funding when the government drops funding? There might be a slight uptick in private funding just out of necessity, but overall you're just going to see less field work, less lab work, less paleontology being done. We have, I'm not going to give you a number figure, but you'd be, I think, maybe surprised and shocked by how little money we have to do this work for 3 weeks during the summer. Our funding comes from the state of Utah, through the Utah Geological Survey, and holy cow, do they get a lot of bang for their buck. Holy. So many new dinosaurs. So Dawn and Jim have, I don't know how many new dinosaurs they have they found over the years. They've published over the years, but it is quite a few. If any of you here in the chat are fans of dinosaurs like Utah Raptor or Diabloceratops, then you have Jim and Dawn to thank for those critters. Dawn, if we can bug you for a second. About how many new dinosaurs do you think you've worked on in your career so far? Either excavated or been an author on a paper, or, you know, like played a role in bringing those critters to light?
Yeah, probably 10.
10?
I mean, I could add it up, but yeah. Approximately 10, yeah.
What do you think your favorite is so far? Would it be Diablo?
Yeah, I mean, Diablo's just so cool.
Yeah, Diablo's very... Don's got a big Diabloceratops skull. Well, not big. It's an exact copy of his fireplace at home. So
Yeah,
cool.
it's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
yeah, I personally found 3 new ones and
Yeah.
maybe a couple more that might get named. But
Nice. Yeah.
yeah, so Yurgavuchia from just over there, and Iguana colossus and Diabloceratops.
Nice.
But there's another ceratopsian frill that I found down in the Wawweep that
Yeah.
might be something new. But
Nice.
and then, yeah, I guess that's it. But yeah, and then
So far.
been in on Falcarius and Iguana colossus and Hippodraco.
Nice. So yeah, you could have as many as like probably over a dozen new dinosaurs by the time you choose to retire, maybe, or get hit by an asteroid, or however a paleontologist's career ends. You know. Yeah, but very cool. Yeah, and so that's nuts. Like working for the Utah Geological Survey, Utah's getting so much bang for their buck out of this. It's kind of insane. You think about how many people go to visit the state of Utah because of the fossil finds that are made here. Think about all the people who go to Dinosaur National Monument, who are going to go to Utah Raptor State Park, people who visit the state to go to different museums, and yeah, I don't know. I know when I was a kid, I dreamed about going to Utah, and now I work here every summer, and that's incredible, you know? Utah always held this kind of this place of mystique in mind from the time I was a small child. Like, Utah, that's where the dinosaurs are. And today we've got more dinosaurs from Utah, more species, more genera of dinosaurs from this state than any other state in the Union. When Jim is here, maybe on Saturday or later, we'll talk about this, what makes Utah so special. But it's a very special place indeed. And Hollier says, I'm playing Jurassic World Evolution 2 whilst watching this. Well, I hope you're enjoying it. Yeah. And Ricky WSF says, when these creatures roamed the land, what would this landscape look like? So this wouldn't have looked like this today. Today this is kind of high desert. We're at like 4,500 feet elevation. So that's what, like 1,100 meters above sea level, something like that. Very, very arid environment. You've got mountains in the distance, you've got cliffs, it didn't look like this back then. This would have been a low, swampy floodplain. It would have been far inland. There's no inland sea nearby or anything like that, not like later in the Cretaceous. But I'll show you some pictures later on in the summer. We'll bring out Krista Sadler's book. But picture kind of like, I don't know, maybe like present day Arkansas or something like that. Generally pretty flat, broad floodplains, pretty swampy. There would have been forests. There would have been, like fern prairies and stuff like that. This is before flowers evolved. So there's no grasses, no flowers, no fruit trees. Instead, you would have had conifers, like evergreen trees, sort of like pine trees, stuff like that. Around you would have had ginkgo trees, lots of ferns, tree ferns, cycads, which are these really cool plants that almost look kind of like palm trees, sort of, but they're not related to palm trees. Palm trees had not evolved yet. This is before palm trees even. You would have had horsetails and other kind of club mosses, spike mosses, things like that around, but no grasses, no flowers. Yeah, would have been a cool environment. Like I said, swampy, floodplain, marshy, turtles and crocs swimming around, doing their thing, basking in the sun, herds of dinosaurs moving across the landscape. You would have had pterosaurs flying through the sky, and some birds as well. And of course, insects and arachnids doing their thing in the undergrowth. Dragonflies buzzing around. Lizards and maybe tuatara-like animals, like rhynchocephalians, basking in the sun, running around too. Would have been pretty cool. And how warm would it be, says Loki1. It would have been warmer and wetter than it is today, especially in Utah. Again, this is a desert. It's so dry out here that I've not seen a single bird literally all day. And I've been looking. Yeah. So it would have been wetter and warmer than today, but I don't know. I don't know if I can give you a figure. Average temperature, I don't know, 70, 80 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. I don't actually know for sure. We'll ask Jim. And Murph says, how old is the Moab site thought to be? So this is one of the oldest Cretaceous sites in the world, one of the very oldest in North America. We're thinking these rocks are about 142 million years old, maybe even slightly older. The very, very beginning of the Cretaceous, and that's one of these rocks are so important, why these fossils are so vital to understand. Because this is just after a big extinction event. A bunch of different dinosaur groups have just died out at the end of the Jurassic. They've disappeared from North America. And here we've got, in a sense, almost a recovery fauna, you know? There's new dinosaurs that seem to have walked across a land bridge from Europe. Yeah, so it's kind of a changing of the guard in North America. And that is exciting in and of itself because that's a new idea. We used to think that there was a big time gap in between the end of the Jurassic, the Morrison fauna, and then the stuff in the Cedar Mountain Formation. We used to think, oh, there could be 10 million years missing there. Just seen missing. Who knows what happened? But it turns out these rocks are older than anybody thought. And so that transition, that change, was so much more abrupt than anybody had guessed. Something big and weird happened in between the end of the Jurassic and the beginning of the Cretaceous. And people like Jim Kirkland are trying to figure this out now. Was it an asteroid impact that happened there? There is a big crater in South Africa that seems to line up to the same time, so there could have been an asteroid impact that caused the extinction of some of these dinosaurs in North America. It wasn't as bad as the one at the end of the Cretaceous. Didn't completely wipe dinosaurs out, except for birds. But several dinosaur groups just disappear from North America. No more stegosaurs. No more diplodocid dinosaurs. No more ceratosaurs. There's other groups that just blink out of existence. So yeah. There's also hints that there was a big pluvial event. So like it just rained and rained and rained for a long time in between. Maybe that asteroid impact changed the climate for a while and you just had a period of massive rainfall that changed the environment. A lot of these dinosaurs just, their food was gone. The environment had changed and so they died out. Yeah, we're still figuring this stuff out. Yeah, it was the Morokwang, the Morokwang impact. Claire, yeah, that's a Morokwang crater. Morokweng, Morokwang, I think. But yeah. And Crimson Carnotaurus says Stegosaurus was Whereosaurus was around during the early Cretaceous. In China, not here in North America. Stegosaurs seem to have disappeared at the end of the Jurassic in North America and just didn't come back. Yeah, it could be that they got knocked out and then the ankylosaurs kind of take over and stegosaurs couldn't reinvade after that. We're not sure. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, let me go drink some more water before I forget. We've got 423 people watching, by the way. If anybody's new here, don't hesitate to ask some questions. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. I'm here on Twitch trying to do some good old-fashioned science outreach. And during the summers, I'm out digging fossils, doing field work, excavating dinosaurs and collecting data. And I'm incredibly lucky to be able to share that with everybody through these live streams via the magic of Twitch and satellite internet. So, yeah, if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to ask. That's why I'm here, you know? That's why I'm doing this. Yeah. Anyhow. And Carvis says, do existing fossil samples still hold new evidence when you're looking at them with up-to-date instruments and knowledge? Absolutely, yeah. Here, I'll talk about that in a minute. Let me drink some water first before I forget. Before I get too distracted. There we go. So, one of the reasons why we do this, why we excavate these fossils in the first place, is that, you know, we'll be able to work on them ourselves and publish papers and that kind of thing. But that's not the end of the story. These fossils are in the Natural History Museum of Utah long after we're all dead. When we're collecting fossils from public land, this is Bureau of Land Management, federal land here, working here under permit. These fossils are going to be here, well, going to be in a museum, hopefully for decades, centuries, if one's optimistic, maybe even millennia to come, if human civilization lasts that long. We'll see. That's the thing, is that in the future, paleontologists will come up with methods that we can't even imagine at this point. You know, in the same way that Richard Owen and Gideon Mantell and William Buckland, you know, they were excavating fossils and putting them into museums. They would have no conception of radiometric dating or, you know, like histological analysis or even phylogenetics or something like that. Science is always progressing, especially paleontology. We're always coming up with new methods to study previously discovered fossils, new ways of collecting data and testing hypotheses. That's what it's all about, baby, you know? Who knows what kinds of methodologies will develop in the future. And so these fossils, safely ensconced in a museum, will be worked on by future generations of scientists who will continue to be able to make discoveries, new discoveries, based on these old fossils. Just 140 plus million years old, but old in the sense that they would have been collected decades before. Museums are so important. Ideas that we come up with now, they will be able to test those in the future using methods that we can't even fathom at the moment, you know? And that's exciting. Loki 1, yeah, so the sounds in the Jurassic Park films that the dinosaurs make are speculative. They picked them because they sound cool. In most cases, we can't directly figure out what dinosaurs would have sounded like unless you have certain things that get fossilized, like crests and stuff like that you have on certain dinosaurs. Famously on duck-billed dinosaurs like Parasaurolophus, the back of its head, and it's got hollow chambers on the inside. These animals were able to hear through those, kind of like a woodwind instrument, in order to make, you know, really loud calls to communicate with vast. So in some cases we can look at the shapes of those crests, we can scan them and figure out what the interior morphology is like, figure out, you know, what do those air chambers look like, and then we can build a replica and blow air through it, figure out what it would have sounded like. But those are kind of rare instances. With most dinosaurs, they don't have structures like that preserved. They don't have big bony crests that are filled with air. Some do, but most don't. And so trying to figure out what dinosaurs sounded like is usually pretty speculative. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Yeah. And Crimson Carnotaurus says, is there any actual scientific proposals, those T-Rex vocals that are derived from geese in some videos? So we can use what we call the EPB, the extant phylogenetic bracket, to make educated guesses about stuff like this. And the EPB, it sounds complicated, but like my old mentor Denver Fowler used to say, it's just crocs and emus, you know? So if we're trying to figure out something about dinosaurs that doesn't readily fossilize, like what sounds they would have made, then we can look at their closest living relatives for some general kind of clues. So for dinosaurs, their closest living relatives are birds, who literally are a kind of dinosaur. They're the only surviving dinosaurs. And then we can look at crocs at modern crocodilians, alligators, gharials, crocodiles, etc. And so we can look at things that crocs and birds have in common, especially like big flightless ground-running birds, things like ostriches, emus, cassowaries, rheas. If there's something that crocs and birds both have, since they bracket dinosaurs on the family tree, they're on either side of Dinosauria, then if they both have the same thing, then chances are dinosaurs in the middle had that too. And so if we look at the vocal structures of crocs and birds, that can give us some general kinds of hints about what dinosaur vocal structures might have been like too, even though those don't usually fossilize, you know? So it's a way to like kind of come up with an educated way of thinking about this. You know, I don't know how to describe the EPB. Is it a thought experiment? Is it a conceptual framework? Is it a way of forming or constraining hypotheses? Call it what you like, but that's generally how the EPB works, you know? You look at critters today to try and bracket what your extinct group is like and give might have been like. Yeah. Anywho. Yeah. And let's see here. Murph says birds and crocs make a lot of different sounds. Yeah. And non-avian dinosaurs surely would have as well. It's a group of animals that would be very diverse in their morphologies, habits, coloration, and everything else. And Urban Manx says, I think they sounded like Jerry Lewis. There was probably some kind of dinosaur throughout the vast Mesozoic era, over 175 million years. There's probably some kind of dinosaur that would have sounded oddly like Jerry Lewis, probably. But wouldn't have spoken English, though. Or any human language. Yeah. And Claire says, what about an African hornbill? That looks like a dinosaur. I mean, it is. All birds are dinosaurs, Mizart rules, as you know. But hornbills, they're flying birds, and so they're not always the best analog for non-bird dinosaurs. But they do have really interesting things, like they've got these keratinized crests on their heads, and some dinosaurs had similar crests, and so studying hornbills can potentially offer some clues as to what those dinosaurs were doing with their crests, you know? If you find a very similar structure in an extinct animal to a modern animal, you can study that modern animal, figure out how it uses that structure, and maybe the extinct animal was doing the same thing, you know? That's the kind of research that's right up my alley. I love that kind of thing. So, and I've got some projects coming up that have to do with that. Yeah. And Squiggle says, shoebills are probably a better analogy. They're not fully non-flying, but prefer ground. In some ways, I'm actually working on shoebills a little bit for an upcoming paper. Balaniceps rex. Shoebills are such a cool animal, such a cool bird. But they've got some interesting features that I'm comparing to some theropod dinosaurs, some non-avian theropods, I should say. But yeah, let me go take that wheelbarrow, contribute something. Let's see. I can take that fish.
All right.
Yeah, if you want to get it up the little rise there. Nice. Yeah. What time do you think we want to call it quits, Don?
I think we're going to probably actually start taking down any minute now.
Okay. Yeah, it's almost 5 o'clock. Almost quitting time. Here, let me set this here, and I'll go empty out that wheelbarrow. There we are. Oh yeah. Okay. So with that, barring a big raid or something, I think we'll start to wrap things up here. So I can help with taking down tarps and everything else. What a good first day back out here in Utah. We got a lot done. Really hit the ground running here, so to speak, which is nice. I know we were a day late, but sometimes that's how things go. The trailer broke, so we had to figure that out. But it's good to be back in the field, and I'll be streaming as close as I can to every single day here until we leave, which should be in about 3 weeks, around August 5th or so. So, yeah. Stay tuned for some more streams. We'll be, again, trying to do this every single day for the next 3 weeks. See how close I can get to every day. And thank you, Murph, for those 10 gift subs. Really appreciate that. Good stuff. And I will definitely, I've been hydrating a lot, Ornis. I will continue to do so. Yeah. Let's go ahead and see who else is here on stream right now. Who else is streaming on Twitch, rather. Here we go. Watch. Following. Let's see here. Today is Thursday. Yogurt Garrel is on right now. Let's go see what Yogurt is up to. Looks like she's building a Lego owl, so that is a dinosaur stream, strictly speaking. So let's go see what Yogurt Garrel is up to. Raid Yogurt Garrel. Excellent. Well. Yogurt Garrel is a wonderful friend of the stream. She does a lot of bird stuff. She was also my camera woman when I was walking around with a live velociraptor at TwitchCon last year. We'll see if maybe we can corral her into doing the same thing this year if she ends up going to TwitchCon. Could we be so lucky? I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in today. Thank you for your questions, your enthusiasm, your financial support, which makes all of this possible in the first place. It's the reason I can be out here. Thank you for that. It means the world to me. It really does. Thank you to the moderators who show up all the time and make sure that this is a safe and welcoming community for all of the chatters, and for me too. Thank you, mods. I appreciate you more than you know. Thank you to the new followers, and if we had any raiders, thank you raiders. Thank you everybody. I appreciate you. And with any luck, we'll be streaming again tomorrow, and maybe we'll even have some bones to show you. So yeah, let's go right into Yogurt Garrel. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.